Ganga, the longest river in India. But what is it beyond that? Just a river that sustains the lives of millions of people dependent on its water, or a goddess who descended on earth for the salvation of mankind, or merely just a means of merriment for those who cannot delve into the significance of the most sacred river of Hindus. According to the Puranas, Ganga descended to earth to fulfill the wish of Suryavanshi king Bhagirath. Like his ancestors, he prayed to Ganga to descend to earth and liberate his ancestors. It was all because of the curse laid upon Ganga by Saraswati. Long ago, both the goddesses had become enamored of Lord Vishnu. One day, seeing Ganga sitting next to Vishnu, Saraswati became angry. In no time, the goddesses entered a brawl. Vishnu tried to calm them down, but to no avail. He left Vaikuntha, and this further fueled their anger. They started blaming each other for the Lord's departure. In anger, Saraswati laid a curse on Ganga. You will flow on the earth and carry the bones of the dead. When Lord Vishnu returned and came to know about the curse, he was astonished. Even he could not free Ganga from this curse. He could only amend it to provide some solace to Ganga. You will have to descend to earth and will have to carry the ashes of the dead. You'll have to wipe the sins of mankind, but in return, they'll venerate you as a mother. These stories of the Puranas seems to come true on the ghats of Haridwar and Rishikesh. Har Ki Pauri Ghat in Haridwar is the place where you can see it in its entirety. According to the Puranic legend, during the Sagar Manthan, that is the churning of the ocean of milk, this is the place where the celestial bird Garud, while carrying Amrit, the elixir of life, in a pot spilled a few drops of it. This is why thousands of devotees gathered at Har Ki Pauri. Some in desire of Amrit, some to take a holy dip to get rid of their sins, some to immerse the ashes of their loved ones. But there are some for whom these ghats are only tourist places, and Ganga is like any other ordinary river where they can frolic. I have been coming to Haridwar and Rishikesh for more than a decade, but for the first time I got a chance to spend adequate time at both the places. I noticed that the ethereal beauty and peace of these ghats was largely ephemeral. On one side, the grieving families were bidding their dead relatives farewell as per the customs. On the other side was the crowd, some of whom were taking holy bath, and others, unaware of the religious significance of the place, were immersed in an orgy of joy. If any of them had walked some 100 meters upstream along the ghat, I am certain they would have jumped out of the water, at least those who had no religious sentiments. The sight of garbage dumped on the ghat and plastic floating in the river was depressing. Ganga descended from heaven to wash away our sins. I am not sure if plastic, feces, and other chemical wastes were part of the deal. On the same ghat, I saw 3 men. One was washing his clothes. Further down the river, another was busy throwing garbage in the river. And further ahead of him, the third was preparing to take a bath. His courage was admirable because he was drinking the same water despite seeing so much pollution in it. Rishikesh was no different. Forget about children, even adults were throwing plastic bottles in Ganga. On the so-called beaches near Ramjhula, I saw two worlds colliding. A peaceful one of sadhus meditating at a distance from the riverbank, and the other was the noisy world of tourists going crazy near the riverbank. I saw a sadhu observing all this. I asked his thoughts. Ignorance and delusion have no limits. People with these qualities are so dim-witted that they think they know everything. Wise people know that there is always more to learn, he said. But what exactly is Rishikesh? A tourist destination or a religious place? If it has ashrams, temples, and ghats for the devotees, it also offers river rafting, bungee jumping, and trekking experiences for the tourists. For me, as a Hindu, it will always remain a religious place. And even for those from across the world who transformed their lives by practicing yoga and meditation here. After reaching the left bank via Ramjhula, walking along the Ganga and the ashrams, praying at the ghats, I was now standing in front of Janki Setu, another bridge connecting the two banks of Ganga. I walked to the other side and unknowingly ended up on a ghat where cremation is carried out. A poignant sight of smoke rising from the pyre, the body turning to ashes, and the family members bidding a final farewell to their loved one. This is it, the final stop of the journey called life. The inevitable. Whatever is created is destined to perish. Even the cosmos is bound by this law. But one thing that can never perish is the dim-wittedness of humans. I heard an old man telling a couple to not enter Ganga with their slippers on. They didn't listen, and it didn't go down well with the workers of that ghat. After a brief war of words, everything was back to normal. The couple left, and workers went about their normal routine, preparing the pyre for the next body. My journey had come to an end, and someone else's journey to the next world was about to begin. The dusk was approaching. The smoke from the pyre was rising. It was time to go home.